Hi, everybody. Welcome to our very first podcast from our webinar, whatever you want to call it, from LifeSprout Chiropractic. Tonight we are talking about sprouting new habits and 5 strategies to watch your family blossom. And this tonight is really about, let me get this set up here. It's really about creating healthy habits in your family so that everyone can be healthy, be eating healthy, be exercising, and doing all those things that we want to do. And this is the first time that we've done one of these, so hopefully the recording will come through clear because I know a lot of people are going to be watching this afterwards. And let's go ahead and get started. So for many of us, I think we all can agree that it's a lot easier to eat healthy and keep yourself healthy when it was just you. And I know for myself, when I was in chiropractic school, I was the healthiest I'd ever been. Eating fast food was Whole Foods salad bar for me. It was, I didn't eat any processed stuff. I cooked all my food. I was exercising constantly, but it was just me. And so then what happened? I got married. I got pregnant almost immediately. And when you bring another person into the picture who doesn't necessarily share your ideas or thoughts or values around food, it can get challenging. And so I've been through trying to reclaim and restart habits that I'd lost and be able to bring my son and my husband on board with me. And so that's really what we're going to talk about this evening. A little bit about me, for those who don't know me. I've been practicing up in Fairbanks for almost 3 years now. We moved up here to have an adventure and found out we were pregnant 3 days before we came. We'd just gotten married, and so we certainly have had an adventure, and our son Fritz is now 2. And I have had my own practice in its own location since February of this year. It's 2015. And so we're having a lot of fun and getting to know a lot of people, and it's just been great. So I want to thank you for joining us. And without further ado, let's get started. Let's talk about some things that you can do with your family that will help you guys get healthier and reclaim your health. So, eating well works best when the entire family commits to it. That's sure true. When my husband buys ice cream and it's sitting there in my freezer, you want to eat it, right? So some ideas. Sometimes you have to come across compromises. And so the best way to kind of go about this is to have a family meeting. And, even if you have little kids, include them in this. Let them be part of deciding what you're going to eat and committing to really eating. One of the things we're going to talk about later on is having an intention and having everyone sets a goal for the month, and then you help each other get there. And like I said, we'll talk about that later on. So everyone has the things they like, and in order to develop healthy habits, we all kind of have to learn what it is we like and what are the good things that we like. So some things that I recommend is don't try to force anybody to eat what you think they should eat. I've been there. It doesn't work very well. You want to really take the time, if you're the person in the family who's educated, take the time to try to teach them and let them know about what is a good thing to eat. If you're all still learning this, then take the time to educate yourselves and do it as a family project rather than just one of you taking it on. And if you're the only one who cares right now, do it yourself and take the time to educate them. That's totally fine. Also, another thing that's important to recognize is not everyone even though we share the same DNA, everyone has a different body type. And so some people might get filled up on salad and other people might need a big meaty steak in order to feel full. For me, I'm a big meaty steak kind of person. There was a period there where my husband decided he was only going to eat beans and rice because he wanted to be more like the people of Nepal where he spent some time. And, beans are okay, but I was hungry and he had a hard time understanding that not everybody wants to eat exactly the way that person does as well. And so you got to find compromises. This doesn't mean cook a different meal for everyone at the table, but have variety in the things that you cook. Another thing that I put up on the screen here is you can compromise on things. There's something known as the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, and these are for vegetables. The Clean 15 are the 15 vegetables with the least fruits and vegetables with the least pesticides. And you can find these lists online or email me at dralex@lifesproutchiro.com. and I can get it to you too. And then the Dirty Dozen are the absolutely most heavily laden fruits and vegetables with pesticides. And so those are the ones that you really, really want to try to buy organic. It's hard in Alaska, but as much as possible, you want to avoid eating conventional fruits and vegetables that are on that Dirty Dozen list. So that's available online again. And then in terms of this, figuring out what each person needs to eat more of in order to feel full, Mercola.com, which is on the right-hand side of your screen here, has a free food typing quiz where you actually go through and answer questions on what makes you feel most full, and it gives you a printout and then gives you meal ideas as well. So that can be helpful, and hopefully more than one person in your family likes to eat like you do. So some other thoughts. It's an old convention of many people that kids should have to finish their plate of food. And I know this is certainly true in my generation of we grew up with, if you don't finish your food, you don't get to leave the table. However, more research has come out that this really messes up with the signals of the body. If a kid isn't hungry, they just aren't hungry, and trying to force them to eat is not helping their body be healthy in the short version. So a recommendation, of course, it's your family, it's your life, you're going to do what you're going to do in terms of discipline and all that. But my recommendation is to just save any uneaten food. And if they say they're done, then they're done. They don't get anything else for dinner. Another thing that is maybe against the grain is to not skip desserts or processed foods. Studies have actually found that kids who are not allowed to eat dessert make poor food choices and eat higher calorie stuff just because they're trying to rebel against something. Whereas kids who are allowed to have it, over time, if their family's committed to eating healthy, they start choosing the healthier things and don't eat the desserts as often. So by not letting kids eat dessert, they may want it even more. And by only allowing it after they finish their vegetables, you're defining dessert as a reward, which is a healthier relationship to have to dessert. Moving on, I'm just looking over my notes. So our big thing is we want to teach kids to have a healthy relationship to food. I think I did promise in an email that there would be lots of cute pictures of my toddler on here, and there are. So one of the things I do with Fritz is I actually let him help me cook. It makes a mess sometimes, but mess is well worth him feeling like he's contributing to making the meal. He's also probably going to be a chef someday, the way this kid's going. But this is a picture of him helping me make some gluten-free pancakes. He helped me stir, and he likes to put it on the pan and do all that. So, you know, get your kids involved in the eating healthy. They're more apt to be inspired and excited about it if they know that they contributed somehow. They can help with the shopping. You could have them pick out the vegetables that you're going to eat that week or the next couple days. And that way, if they picked them out, they better eat them, right? They can stir something. Fritz likes to turn on and off our Vitamix. And these are all, he likes to put ingredients into things. And this is always helpful in just having him be excited about what we're doing. And he's always more excited to eat it when we've done it together. The other idea is, you know, we have a short gardening season up here, but planting a garden together, just getting the kids involved in that and teaching them about growing. And if you're still learning too, you can all, it's just something that you can learn together and do together, and it can be exciting. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. Maybe you'll have some stuff that's great, and maybe some of the stuff won't turn out that good. But just that experience can help instill healthy habits in the kids as well as in yourself. Now we're going to shift from eating into exercising, because exercise is honestly, maybe we're not quite there yet. So again, you just want to serve balanced meals that include protein, carbohydrates, fat, and a big glass of water. The water is important, and I would actually recommend drinking the water before you eat, because if you drink it before you eat, it fills you up a little bit, and that way you won't eat quite as much, especially as if weight loss is one of your things. It helps hydrate all your cells before you eat. And I wouldn't drink it during, because then you trick your stomach and it doesn't really know what's going on. So actually you end up eating more. Just a little tidbit there. All right, so now we're going to shift to exercise. Moving is very important. And whether it's, a lot of us look at exercise when grown and think it's a chore. I know I've certainly done this certain days when I'm trying to get up at 6:30 in the morning, but I found a great encouragement, and staying active can and definitely helps fight depression and just keeps you feeling much better. It raises your endorphin level and just gives you an overall sense of accomplishing something. I'll put it like that. And so what's great is having your kids see that. This is Fritz, who started, I do a workout video at home called Burst Fit, And he got really excited about seeing mommy work out. So excited that he now has his own pair of workout shorts that are my shorts from when I ran a marathon. And, you know, you can see him over here. He's doing weightlifting with me. He's doing something there with the string. I'm not really sure. And then this is him and my mom taking a walk together. And so I found that a lot of parents, and this was myself for a while, I felt like I had to, you know, not be around him in order to not be distracted and really get my workout in. And what I found is it's actually better to have him around because he does it with me and he's excited and it keeps me motivated to get it done. And at the same time, he's learning and moving and watching me do all this stuff, like sit-ups and push-ups and burpees. You know, a 2-year-old knows what a burpee is. That's pretty cool. So don't be afraid to include them in it. You don't feel like you have to have a gym membership and it's this big chore to go work out. You can take a walk together. You can have a pillow fight. You can run sprints up and down a hill. You know, he and I have done a relay race or played tag in REI while we were waiting for my husband to finish talking to somebody. It's just make sure you're up and you're moving and not just sitting in front of the TV or on the couch every night. It's a great thing and a great thing to do as a family. It can, in terms of a pillow fights can be great because it's an effective form of exercise, as long as, you know, no zippers are hitting anybody in the face or anything like that. You wanna proceed with caution. However, and if you hit anybody too hard in the face, you guys will probably be coming to see me, not gonna lie. But if a pillow fight can be an effective form of exercise because it uses the whole body and gets the heart pumping. And it also can teach children not to be afraid of facing challenges, and that even when you're being knocked down by life or a pillow, you can just get right back up and go at it again. So it's teaching them some healthy emotional responses to getting knocked down or something like that. Another idea, have a family dance off. Have fun. Take turns dancing or everybody dance. I mean, there's, not that I encourage video games, but some of the Wii Sports and Wii Fit games that are out there are actually great for just getting you up and getting you moving. There's also something called Wii-itis, so just be careful that you don't end up with one of those in your elbows or wrists. Board game nights are always good for bonding, and it helps exercise the brain. My favorite is Settlers of Catan, but I'm also pretty mean at Boggle and Scrabble, so most of my family won't play with me anymore. It's pretty sad. I need to find some new opponents. You know, invite other friends over and have social activities. Here we have some dancing. Relay races are another great thing. You can, even if it's winter, you can figure out how to race around the house, or scavenger hunts. Those are also good. Just get creative with it. And then get involved with other families. You can, you know, share meals with other people. We like to, you know, we talked about a game night. You can have a couples potluck event, volunteering together. One of the things I'm doing this summer is coaching soccer for 10-year-old boys. And it's actually become a thing where Fritz is excited to go coach, usually more excited than I am, because he's bonded with all these boys and he runs around and kicks the ball and helps me collect stuff and helps kind of herd this group of 10-year-olds who are all completely out of control usually, but it's lots of fun. And so here he is on the right, coming to coach with me. His sense of style just makes me incredibly excited. And another thing we did recently is we went to a friend's house. We all went out blueberry picking. They have a 3-year-old and Fritz is 2, and you know, we had a great time. So just get out, go explore, go do something new as a family, or invite other families to come with you. If you know a family that you feel like has healthy habits you want to mirror, spend some time with them. Just get involved. And then the next part of this is really something that I've been working on a lot, and that is to determine what your core values are, both as a family and individually. And I've done a pretty good job of figuring out my individual goals. And in preparing for this, I interviewed people and read a lot of stuff, and you know, realized that it's a good thing to do with your family members too. And everyone, both young and old, doesn't matter how old they are, they can contribute to this and have goals for themselves. So even my 2-year-old is going to have some goals for him to do in the month, like maybe going potty in the potty. Or, you know, some other ideas are walking a dog, to reading books, to saving money, to keeping good hygiene. You just want to make a list of things that are important to you in life, both individually and as a family. And then from there, I've been learning a lot about only making decisions that fall in line with those values. So if you decide you value quality time as a family, don't make any decisions that is going to impact that time or cut into that time. If you decide you value, some of the examples are reading, studying, or going to the museum, you might have learning or education as one of your values. And so the things you decide to do and the things that are moving you towards health are the things that line up with who you are and what you believe in and what values you hold for yourself as well as your family. And so a great activity is to actually have once a month, and I'm going to start doing this in my business with everyone who works with me here, but you can do it with your family, you can do it in your relationship, is to once a month have a meeting, get some note cards or some pens or a big whiteboard, or if you're creative and want to draw out what your goals are, or everyone can do their own thing. You're going to go over for that month, like what's 1 to 3 things that you'd like to accomplish that month. Maybe you want to lose 5 pounds. Maybe you want to eat more leafy green vegetables. And I would make them SMART goals. So SMART means specific, measurable, attainable. I think it's reliable and timely or tangible. Something that you can achieve and that you can measure is basically the biggest part of that. So maybe you want to eat if you want to eat more leafy green vegetables, you want to eat leafy green vegetables 3 times per week for dinner. Or you want to exercise 3 times per week for 30 minutes. Or you want to spend 45 minutes reading a book every night, something like that, or reading your Bible, whatever it is. So just come up with what those goals are, and then as a family, share them together. You're much more likely to be encouraged and to have success if you have people holding you accountable. And the people who should hold you accountable are the ones that you spend the most time with. And I know I've struggled with this. For some reason, my husband and I have always, rather than holding each other accountable, we seem to just be really competitive with each other. And so some things we're working on are trying different approaches to how we set goals and how we share them with each other, and then really just trying to, one of those goals is to be encouraging and be supportive of what the other one wants to do, and have them be specific and measurable and achievable and tangible for our family, and something that fits in with our family dynamic as well. And so you just want to, it takes some work, and sometimes, there's a time to be selfish and there's a time to be about family. And families are healthy and grow together when they have fun, and when the individuals in the family are getting the things they need and doing the things that they want to do and want to achieve and accomplish. So I just encourage everybody to really take a look at that and what your values are and where you want your family to go. And if it's eating healthier and not everyone is on board with that, well, what can you individually do to change? And then I've seen time and time again, as one person in the family starts making different choices, the rest of the family gets intrigued and starts to follow along. And it doesn't necessarily mean, cold turkey going off of everything. One of my favorite ways to approach this is to, before you eat whatever you're going to eat a healthy thing. So have an apple before dinner, or have some carrot sticks, or have, a piece of fruit or a vegetable before you eat whatever your normal meal would be. And with time, as you keep doing that, you start to crave the healthy food more and more. A lot of the research that's been out there has been showing that as you start introducing healthy foods, especially in kids, they will choose that healthy food before they choose the processed, the white sugar, the, corn dogs and chicken nuggets and all these bland things that I see kids eat. I think I said hot dogs already. They will make good choices. And I know with Fritz, I have ways of preparing, kale, broccoli, and zucchini, where I can actually get him to eat it, and he likes it and he enjoys it. And so some of that is, I use coconut oil and sea salt to cook for him, and he'll actually eat it that way. And you lose some nutrients when you cook it down like that, but at least he's getting used to eating green things. So just to recap some of the things we've talked about, I don't know that it's really 5. There's probably more like 7 things that I've talked about in here. But the first thing is, we're talking about food. it's actually, I would really put the first thing with figuring out what your values are. Figure out where you want to go as a family, where you want to go as an individual, and then really work together to try to get there. So, you know, not everybody necessarily has to be on the same page, but they should know that, hey, mom's going to try to lose weight and start eating all organic food, and how can we support her? Or dad's going to start working out 5 days a week for at least 30 minutes, and how can we support him? And then eventually the rest of the family is going to start to come along. So my first thing is figure out your values, get them set, and put in that monthly meeting so that you can all be supportive of each other and have those goals written down. And maybe there's a way you celebrate if you achieve your goals at the end of the month. You get a cheat day. Cheat days are great. In chiropractic school, I was part of a workout group that we would do ridiculously hard workouts where usually at least one person vomited on Saturdays. But Saturday was our cheat day for eating. So on Saturday, you know, back then my version of cheating was if I ate grapes or something with a fruit with had a high glycemic index. But you know, your cheat day could be a little more of an actual cheat on that day. Or sometimes I'd have chocolate, which now I'm completely addicted to chocolate again, but only dark chocolate, of course. But, you know, putting stuff in place where you get rewards for making healthy choices is fine. There's another thing called the 80-20 rule. And most of us do this backwards, where we eat well 20% of the time for the 80% of the time that we don't. And you really want to do it the other way around, where you eat well 80 to 90% of the time. And then you have 10 to 20% of the time where you go out to eat or have that thing that you just absolutely love that you need to have. And that overall, it shifts your health so that you're doing much better than the way we typically tend to approach that idea. So getting back on track, our first point is to define your values, both individually and as a family, and where you want to go in terms of health. 2 is to get the kids involved, whether they help with cooking, whether they help setting the table, whether they help with shopping, whether they're stirring something. Just get them involved, whether they're picking out the food you're going to eat or telling you what they think would be good. Get them involved somehow. And then with that, also not limiting them on what they can eat, unless it's lollipops from the bank. Someone taught my kid that bank tellers have lollipops, and I don't know who it was, but now I can't go to the bank without him asking for a lollipop, and it drives me crazy. Anyways, the next is to get moving together, whether it's pillow fights or board game nights or walks or doing something like Insanity or Burst Fit and your kid just being there while you do it. Just make sure you get moving and make it fun and include the whole family in it. And then the last thing I would actually say is to have that meeting and just make sure that you all are on board and on the same page and going to help each other get there. And remember, your kids look up to you. So if you're trying to bring your kids into a healthy lifestyle and you feel like they're kind of lost in the world of video games and not moving much and loving not good food, as you start to change, they will too. Your kids look up to you. So they see the choices you make, and the habits that you keep can influence their own. If you're someone who goes to the gym and drops them off and they play video games the whole time, that might be a little different from the kid who goes to the gym and actually goes and works out with mom and dad, you know, and you have to figure out where to go to do that and all that. But just remember that you as the parent are the one who's setting the standard for how they're going to behave in life. So I think that about wraps up this first seminar or webinar or whatever you want to call it. I hope everybody got something out of it and it was valuable. I certainly enjoy sharing this kind of stuff, and we'll be doing a lot more of it through the year. If you have any questions about anything, you can feel free to email me at dralex@lifesproutchiro.com, and LifeSprout is LIFESPROUT.com. And again, if there's any questions, reach out. Thank you all for being here, and I hope to see you at some of our other events, either at the office or here online. Good night.